So good evening everyone, and today we are going to develop a dynamic website on WebLab using the basic features of HTML and CSS. So I welcome you on this beautiful channel named Geeks for Geeks School, and this is what we are going to design today, a beautiful musical website. So this is the final view. This is the final view of the website that we are going to develop today. Now there is a button which you can see is present right in the right side of this window. So if the user will hit this button, automatically he will be able to hear some song from the background like this. Right, and he can play and pause the song anytime using this button over here. So this is what we are going to design today, and there is some JavaScript code that we will be making use of for making this button work as per our requirement. Fine, let's now dive into the platform and check out how can we make use of basic HTML and CSS coding for developing this dynamic, beautiful music website. So for accessing the WebLab, we need to hit this create button, and automatically this cascading menu is going to appear. Then you can visit this view all projects section, and it will redirect you on a beautiful page. Come down and hit this view full list option, and right over here you will find this WebLab option. Just hit this WebLab to access the WebLab environment where you can define the various HTML and CSS code and design beautiful web pages and websites. So this is how the environment looks like, and this line over here is for linking this HTML page with this cascading style sheet. Okay, so let's begin with coding this website. So I'm going to first define the required HTML code for all these components which you are able to see over here on this beautiful web page. So the first thing that we will be doing is let's define a division tag. Okay, and we are going to have a class for this division tag with which we will be able to with which we will be customizing the appearance of this section. So container is the name I'm using for the class of this division. Okay, now inside this division I am going to define an unordered list. Let's have a class also for this unordered list, and we're going to have a class with name nav. You know why? Because we are going to make use of this unordered list tag for creating these options which you're able to see right on the top of this website. So this home, music, artist, about, contact, this I will be defining over here using the li tag. So using this li tag. Okay, li stands for list item, right? Okay, now we can make use of the anchor tag. Why we are making use of this anchor tag? Because all these text over here which you are able to see right on the top of this website, they are actually hyperlink. Okay, now for defining an hyperlink on any HTML document, we make use of anchor tags, right? But we don't want the user to get redirected to some other web page. We want that if the user hits any of these options which are present right on the top of this web page, he should come back on this home page only. I don't want to redirect him to some other web page, right? So what we can do, for the href attribute, we can pass this value hashtag, which is going to bring the user back on this home page. So the first one is, we are going to start from here. So it is contact, which is visible to us right at the end. Okay, and then we can close the anchor tag and also the li tag. Right, let's copy this whole thing and I am going to place it right below it, and I am going to repeat the same step for 3 more times. 1, 2 and 3. Okay. Yeah, now I think it is fine. Yes. So the second one is about. Let's change this one to about. Great. And then we have artists. Rest everything in this line of code is going to remain the same. Okay. You don't need to change anything. Over here, music is the fourth thing, and then it is home. Okay, I'm done with defining all the required anchor tags, okay, for this navigation bar over here. And this is where this division section is ending, right? Now after this division section, let's have one more division section with some other class names. So for this division, we are going to have a class with name content. So we are going to define all the content in between these division tags inside this division section. Okay, and I would like to have one more division inside it with let's say class name is left call. Okay, and then this my sounds is getting reflected over here. So I am going to make use of a separate division, the division which I have defined over here with class name left call. Okay, so this is the division inside which I am going to define the required HTML code for getting this my sounds reflected over here on the stage area. So what we can do, we can make use of simple header tag. Let's make use of h1 tag. Okay, and then we can write down my, and then after my the sounds, this text sounds is coming in the next line. Now how can we get this my sounds reflected like the way it is getting reflected on this original web page over here on the stage area? So what we can do, we can make use of this BR tag. BR stands for break line. So it is going to break the line and bring the cursor on the next line, and then on the next line it will print for us sounds. Fine, and then we can add the h1 tag. So this is how the output is going to look like. Fine. Now after this thing, so this is a division tag, and this division tag with class name content is ending over here. Okay, is ending over here, sorry. Now let's have this audio tag. This you can make use of for accessing any audio file, right? So let's first define an ID for this audio named tag. So I would like to have this ID my sound. Okay, and then we need to add some source. So here we need to mention the link of the song which we would like to play when the user will hit that play button. So for getting a specific sound file, what you can do, you can access this beautiful Pro Kerala website. Let me show it to you. So you need to first come on the Google homepage, and then over here you can type download free mp3 songs prokerala.com. Okay, so this is where you are going to get redirected. Now right on the top you can find a link of this website prokerala.com. Hit this link and you are going to get redirected now on a beautiful web page. So this is the official website of Pro Kerala. I would like to have, let's check out this one. Right, so let's add the URL of this song to our website. Now how to get the URL? You can hit this download option, and which is going to, okay, so the file has downloaded successfully on our on our desktop over here. I don't want to download the file actually. I want the link of a song. Let's try this one, Hindi song. And if I will go on this download option, okay, so it has also got downloaded on my device I'm using right now. Just a second. Let me check if I can get a link directly. Otherwise, I will create a link. Okay. So, how about this one? No. Let's do one thing. Let's create the link of these, songs. How can you do that? So you can access your email ID, and then you can upload one of these songs you have downloaded on your drive. So you just need to hit this option over here, and this is the menu you're going to come across. Now you can hit this drive option, which is going to redirect you to the drive which is connected to your official email ID, and then you guys can upload one of these songs, whatever you want to add to your website. You can upload that song over here. You just have to drag and drop the song like this, and automatically it will get uploaded on your drive. So this is the song. Let's now double click this song, open it for accessing it. Okay, so this is the song. Now, how can we create a link of this song? So we need to hit this. We need to right click on this song, and automatically this cascading menu is going to open up, and then you can come on this share option, or you can make use of this get link option also. I think this is also going to work for us. Okay, and here I am making it public so that anyone with this link can access the song. Okay, so now this is the link. Let's now copy the link. Okay, and I am going to check it on this new browser, so as to see whether I will be able to access the song with the help of the link which I have just created or not. So let's do it quickly. Okay, I need to paste the link over here in the URL part of the browser. Let's see what is going to happen. Okay, so I am able to access the music, right? Great. Let's use this link, and I am going to paste it over here for this source. Now what we need to do, when you're pasting the link, make sure that you have inputted the link in between two double inverted commas. Otherwise, this platform will not take the input you're going to make over here for this source attribute. Fine. Okay, after providing the input, you can define the end tag for this audio element. Okay, and then let's do one thing. Let's define the type also, the type of file that we have attached to the source. So type is audio. The type of the file is audio slash mp3. Fine. Now with the help of this value over here, this platform will be able to recognize the type of this file. Okay, so we are done with defining the required HTML code. Is there anything which we are still left with? Let me just check the original file, original web page. So this is the one. Okay, so we are done with defining the code for this navigation bar. We are done with defining the code for this my sounds, and for this background we will be using the CSS code. Fine. Okay, there is one thing that we are still left with, which is this text which is getting reflected over here, right? So, and besides that, there is an image also. There is an image button also, which is present over here, just next to this text. So we need to add these two things also. What we can do, just before this audio tag, we can define one more division section, and let's have a class with name, because the text and the image is getting reflected on the right side of the web page. So that is the reason we can make right dash call as a class name for this division section. Now inside this division section we are going to make use of this paragraph tag, and here in between the paragraph tag, let's write down click here to listen. Okay, and we can end the paragraph tag then. Okay, fine. Now after this paragraph tag, we can make use of this Img tag for accessing the image. Now the first thing that we have to do is we need to add the image that we would like to see on the web page over here. So what we can do, we can hit this add image button and add an image to this assets section of the web lab. Let's hit the upload file button, which is going to redirect us on one of the location of our device, and I think I have a relevant image on this desktop. Okay, let's use this one, the song image. Okay, so as you can see, the image has got successfully uploaded. We can hit this crossbar for closing this assets library, and after some time you will be able to see that song.png file over here. So this is the image, and this is the HTML code you guys can make use of for adding this image to your HTML document. So I'm going to copy this whole code and place it over here like this. Great. And then let's define some ID also for this image button. So I would like to have the ID with name icon. Okay, I think we are done with defining the required HTML code. So this image over here is quite big. In order to reduce the size of this what we can do, we can make use of inline styling. We can access the cascading style sheets using inline styling. Now how to use inline styling? You can make use of this style attribute, put an equal to sign, and then in between these two double inverted commas you can write down the name of the property you want to play with. So I would like to change the width of the image to 50 pixels. So this is what you will get to see as an output finally. Okay, so now we have this division class. Okay, so this is going to be the left column, and I would like this to be the right column for this division section. So for doing that, I am cutting it from here and I'm pasting it right below this element. Okay, where this division tag is ending, right below this line of code, I have pasted this division section. So now this division section with class name content have two different division sections. One with class name left column and the second with class name right column. Okay, so we are done with defining the required HTML code, and as you can see, all the elements are also visible to us over here on the stage area like this. Let's now make use of the CSS code for styling this web page. So we need to eliminate first everything whatever is getting reflected over here by default. Let's now add some padding to this asterisk part. So I don't want to add any padding, so that's the reason passing 0. Then I don't want to see any kind of marginal space, so that's the reason passing 0 for this margin also. Okay, now let's come on the next line, and as you can see, there there is no space in between this contact, about, artist, music, home, and this border of the web page. They are looking like this just because we have passed 0 for this padding as well as for this margin. Okay, now let's define the code for customizing the look of this class named container. So as you guys very well know that we made use of this class container for this division section, inside which we have this unordered list which contains all the list items, okay, which are getting reflected right on the left on the top of the stage area. Okay, so the first thing we can do is we can define the height. So I would like to have this height of 100 VH. Okay, so VH is for viewport height. Fine. And then we can define a width of 100% because I want this navigation bar to cover the entire width. That is the reason passed this 100% value, okay, for this width property. Fine. Now let's define a background image. So we can make use of this background image, and then we can make use of this URL keyword for accessing the background image. Now I have some links over here that I will be using for customizing the appearance of my website. So this is for the background image. I am going to place it in between single inverted commas. So as you can see, the background is now visible to us over here, right? Okay, great. Fine, so we are done with defining the background image. Let's now define the background size, sorry. So I would like the background to cover the entire web page. That is the reason for this background size I am passing cover value. Okay, and I want everything to be positioned. I want to position everything in the center. So for this background position, I am passing center. Okay, and let's make the position of this navigation bar relative, so that nothing is going to overlap with any of the content we have defined for the web page. So now this is what you will get to see as an output. Fine. Okay, now we are going to define the CSS code for customizing the appearance of the list items, which you're able to see over here on the stage area right on the top. So how to access the list items? What we can do, we can make use of this nav keyword. So nav is a class name which we have used for this UL tag, right? So if you want to access li items, list items, you can write down li like this. So the platform is now going to read this as all the list items which are present in this class named nav. Fine, whatever properties the user is going to write down over here, all the things will be applied to all these list items. So the first thing that I would like to do is I would like to see every of these list items to float in the right side of this window. So for doing that, we can make use of this float property and make them float in the right side like this. Okay, so now everything is in the right side. Now there is some line which is visible to us in the bottom of every text over here. So how can we remove this bottom line? We can make use of this list style attribute, and let's pass this value none. So now when you refresh the stage area, you will be able to see the changes. If you want to remove the tags, for removing that line, we need to make use of text decoration. Why it is not showing us the required output? The tags which were earlier visible to us. Let me remove this line of code from here. So the tags which were visible to us, these tags. Okay, if you want to remove these bullets, what you can do, you can make use of this attribute list style, and you can pass this value none for this property list style, so it will remove the style part of the list. Fine, because unordered list don't have any number, it have bullets, right, for the list items. So if you want to remove those bullets, you can pass this value none for this list type. Let's now access the anchor tags. These text over here, home, music, artist, they are present in between these anchor tags. So if you want to customize the appearance of this these text, you can access the anchor tags like this. Okay, and now let's use this line of code first. Okay, and then let's define some height also. So I would like to have a height of 50 pixels. Then we can define some line height too. So I would like to have a line height of 50 pixels again. So this is what you will get to see as an output. Now you're able to see, we are able to see some space in between these things and the border of this web page. It's because of this line height and height property. Right, now we can define some font size. So I would like to have font size of 1 EM. EM is for emphasize. Okay, now we can also define some font weight for these texts. So for this font weight, let's pass this value 550. Okay, so this is how the text is going to look like now on this beautiful stage area. Fine. And now we can also define a display for this text. So I would like to have a display of block. So this is what you're going to get as an output when you'll define this block kind of display for this anchor tags over here. Right, now let's define some padding in order to give some space in between these texts. So I would like to define a padding of 5 pixels by 35 pixels. I think this is going to give us the correct output. So now when you enlarge the size of this web page, this is how you are going to see these options over here. Okay, now because in the original page the options are visible to us in this black color, So to change the color of the text from blue to black, we can make use of this color property, and let's pass this value black. So now this is what we are going to get as an output. Now the only thing that we're left with is how to remove these lines which are coming in below these text. So for removing these lines, we can make use of the text decoration property, and let's pass none for this property as a value. So now you will get to see this as an output on this beautiful web page, right? So that's how you can customize the appearance of the anchor tags text. Now let's customize the appearance of this division section, which has this class name content. So for accessing this division section, we can again place a dot and write down the name of the class over here. Okay, now inside these curly brackets, the first thing that I would like to define is a width. So I would like it to cover the entire web page. That's the reason passed 100% for this width attribute. So position, let's define absolute for this position part, and I would like from the top it should be visible to us at this distance. So now this is what you will get to see as an output. Fine, my sounds is going to get reflected over here, and this click here to listen, this is also getting reflected over here. Fine. Okay, now let's customize the appearance of this my sounds. How can we access this? So it is present in this division section, which has a class name left col. So we can copy the class name from here and we can place it over here like this. Okay, now I would like to see some gap in between this my sounds and the border of this web page. So for doing that, we can make use of this margin left property, and let's pass a value for this margin left. Let's pass a value for 11%. So now this is where you will get to see this my sounds reflecting on this beautiful web page. Okay, now if you want to access this header, what you can do, the other way to access this, the header is you can copy this code, place it over here, and then you can make use of this h1 tag. Why? Because we have defined this my sounds in between the h1 tags, right? That is the reason I have passed this h1. I've made use of this h1 over here. Now in order to customize the appearance of this my sounds, what we can do, we can first if you want to increase the font size, so we can make use of this attribute named font size, and let's have a value of 50 pixels. So this is how this is what you'll get to see as a final result, right? My sounds. So the font size has now got increased, and let's now pass a color also. So it's a little bit red color, which we are able to see over here. So what we can do, we can make use of this color crimson. I think this will give us the right output. Yes, so this is what you will get to see as an output, right? Now what we can do, we can come on this index.html page, and this is the name of the class we have defined for the second division section. So we can make use of this class now for customizing the appearance of the second division section. Let's do that quickly, and after that we are going to make use of a JavaScript code for making this play button work. So I would like everything over here to get reflected on the right side of the web page. So what we can do, we can make use of this float property and pass this value right for this property. Now when you'll refresh this window, this is what you'll get to see as an output. Now everything which is there inside the division section, which has this class name right col, is getting reflected on the right in the bottom of this web page. Okay, so now let's define some margin also. So I would like to have a margin from the right side of, let's say, 10%. And then let's define some margin from the top part also. So we can have a margin of 5%. Now when you'll refresh the stage area, this is what you will get to see as an output. Now we can set the display to flexible. Okay, and then we can align the items in the center using this align item property. Okay, so this is what you will get to see as an output, right? Okay, now we are going to access the paragraph tag, which is there inside this division section having class name write code. So for accessing the paragraph tag, we can again make use of this write code class. We can place it over here, and then we can write down this P. Now inside these curly brackets, the first thing that I would like to do is, let's set the font size. So font size is 21 pixel, and then let's set the color to black. Fine, and then we can also define the font weight. So let's have a font weight of 650. And then what we can do, we can also define some margin from the right side. So I would like to have a margin of 20 pixel. Now this is what you will get to see as an output, right? So this is the final look of this text over here. Now let's customize I'm not going to customize the appearance of this icon over here. I just want that whenever the user bring this cursor over this button, so it should change to this pointer kind of thing. Now for doing that, what we can do, we can first access the icon, this icon. Now how can we do that? So we have made use of this img named attribute for getting this image reflected on this web page over here. Now we can make use of this id icon for accessing this image attribute, image tag, sorry. So if you're using an id for customizing the appearance of anything, so make sure that you have placed hashtag before the name of the id. So for this class name, you need to put this dot before the class name, and if you are making use of some id, you need to put this hashtag before the id name. Now I would like the cursor to change to a pointer kind of thing. So this is going to help me in doing the same. Now if you refresh this code, this window, and bring this cursor over this button, you will be able to see the required changes over here, right? So every time I'm placing this cursor over this button, the icon is changing to a pointer kind of thing, right? So that's how, with the help of this cursor property, you can get the desired output. Fine, now let's use this link, and I am going to now run this web page on a bigger window. So this is what we have designed till now. But if you will hit this button over here, nothing is going to happen. Why nothing is happening? It's just because we haven't defined the required JavaScript code yet for making this button to work. Okay, so now we are going to make use of the console window for firing some JavaScript command. Now how can you access the console window? You need to press Ctrl, Shift and J key together. Remember this shortcut key, Ctrl plus Shift plus J. So this is what you are going to come across. So this is the console window. Now in this, I am going to define a variable first. let's define a variable with name my sound. Okay, and then we are going to access the component for which just a second, let me come back on this HTML document. So there is this audio tag, right, for which we have defined this ID as my sound. In order to access this audio tag using this ID property, what we can do, we first have to make use of this document keyword. So this will give you the access of the HTML code you have defined for this entire beautiful web page, and then you can place this dot, so automatically this cascading menu is going to open up. Now what you have to do, because you want to access this audio named attribute with the help of this ID, so you can make use of this get element by ID property, and inside this you can write down the name of the ID. So the ID which I have defined over here for this audio named tag is my sound. So I am going to write it down over here. Fine. Now, okay, just a second, let me copy it one more time and place it over here. Okay, so now this my sound named ID means this audio tag, I have saved it in this variable named my sound. Okay, now let's define something for the icon part also. So if the user will hit this button over here, I would like the icon to change. So this is how I can do it. The first thing that we need to do is we need to access the image tag, okay, which we have made use of over here in this HTML document for creating this icon, okay, for creating this image. So the ID of this image tag is icon. We can make use of this ID for accessing this image element. Let's do that. So I am again going to make use of the same step, document dot get element by ID, and inside this parenthesis, in between these two double inverted commas, I am going to write down the name of the ID. Okay, so this is now going to help me in accessing this image element, and it will save the result in this icon named variable. Fine. Now what we can do, we can define a function for this icon variable. So when the user will hit this icon over here, so on click is the event which I am adding to this icon. When the user will hit this, when the user will click on this icon over here, I would like a function to get created, and inside this I would like to define some code. So if my sound, which is this variable, if my sound dot paused, fine, so I would like my sound dot play. So if the icon is of pause, I would like it to change to play. Okay, and then we can come in the next line, and here we can define the source from where we this JavaScript code can pull the icon. So icon.src is the code you guys can make use of. Now the first thing that I would like to define is the code for this icon, for this pause thing. So this is how you can define the value in between the single inverted commas, or you can make use of double inverted commas also. Fine. Now if I will open this link in a bigger window, so this is where this link will redirect us. So this is a pause button which you can easily find on the Google Images. You just have to copy the link and paste it like this, the way I have pasted over here. So if my sound dot paused, so my sound dot play will be called up, and the icon is going to change to this pause. Okay, and then we can close this if loop and define the required else part. Else what should happen? Else I would like this icon dot src to be equal to, and in between these two double inverted commas I am going to place this link. Now what is this link? So when you access this on a bigger window, this link will redirect you on this beautiful play icon, right? So I am going to place it over here. Okay, and then we can close the else part. So I'm done with almost defining the required HTML code. So here I've defined this my sound, then it is icon which I've defined over here, then this is where this function is beginning, right? And here the if loop is beginning. If the user will hit this button over here, the icon will change to this. Else if the icon is already this, and if the user will hit this icon, then it is going to change to this play icon. And here the else part is ending, and now we need to end the function also. Okay, so now when you will hit this button over here, let's see what is going to happen. Okay, so as you can see, the icon has changed. Fine, and if I will hit this button again, so the icon has again changed to pause, right? So play. Just a second, let me copy this whole thing, and I am going to place it somewhere in the bottom over here. Okay, now I am going to refresh this website's link, and let's now paste this whole code which we just defined over here in the console panel. Okay, so the icon is changing, but we are not able to hear the song. I think this link over here is not working properly. Maybe because of that we are not able to hear it, but definitely if you will try it with some other link, you will be able to hear the song the way we are able to hear on this original website, right? So that's how you can create a beautiful musical website using the basic HTML and CSS coding. Hope you guys enjoyed this lecture a lot. Do like and share this video in your groups so that more and more students can come and join this beautiful channel named Geeks for Geeks School and enjoy these free online coding classes we are providing to you guys on this channel. Thank you very much for joining me in this tutorial.